everyone. I am Riami S. Morales and I am the little teacher of Study Hub number 2. And my co-members are Miss Angel Ancheta and we have Miss Janelle Caberte, Sarah Michelle Arado, and Antoinette Bansal. And we will explain to you the topic for. So, we're diving into the exciting world of modern learning modalities. We will explore different approaches to education, highlighting their strengths and how they are transforming the way we learn. So, but before that, first let's understand delivery modalities. So, this simply refers to how learning content is delivered to students. So, we will focus for the four main types, which are the face-to-face, blended learning, technological learning, and distance learning. So first we have the face-to-face learning. So face-to-face learning is the traditional classroom setting. So the teacher and students are physically present. So the teacher meets the student and the student meets the teacher. So allowing for direct interaction and immediate feedback. So these face-to-face learning are active for participation, active engaging, and etc. So, the benefits are very clear for this face-to-face learning. So, strong teacher-student relationships, immediate clarification of doubts, and rich opportunities for collaboration and socio-emotional development. However, it can lack flexibility and accessibility for students in remote areas. So next, we have the number 2, which is the blended learning. So blended learning combines the best of both worlds. So the in-person interaction of face-to-face learning with the flexibility and accessibility of online learning. So under blended learning, we have 4. So first, we have the station rotation. Here in station rotation, students rotate through different learning. So different stations, some may be online and some in face-to-face or some in person. So that's it for station rotation. So next, we have the remote blended. So here in remote blended learning, enrich virtual. So students primarily learn online with occasional face-to-face meetings with the teacher. So here in remote blended learning, it's not necessarily that you will meet or you will always meet the teacher, but you will meet the teacher if important. Let's say you will ask for your grades or there's a problem about your learning. So that's the time that you and the teacher will meet. So third, we have the flipped classroom. So flipped classroom, students learn content online at home. So the teacher will be sending modules or soft copies of modules, no? Then use class time for activities and discussions when the time that you will meet the teacher or when you are already in the classroom. So that's it for flipped classroom. So last, we have the mastery base, which is under blended learning. So here in mastery base, students progress through learning materials at their own pace. So moving on to new content only after mastering the previous material. So from the word itself, mastery. So the students are have their mastery on how they should learn, on what they should do on their learning. So that's all for blended learning. So next, we have the technological learning. So technological learning, from the word itself, technology, of course, all the online social media platforms that you can use to meet your teacher. So it's either Google Meet, Messenger, and other online social media. So that's it for technological learning. So it's not necessarily to meet the teacher, but you will only meet the teacher by this online learning. So last, we have the distance learning. So distance learning, no, from the word itself, distance. So of course, you are far away from your teacher or far away from the classroom. So also known as online learning. So this is quite similar to the technological learning. So takes place entirely online. So students and teachers interact through virtual platforms. So a lot of social media platforms, right? So this offers great flexibility and accessibility but requires strong self-discipline and technological literacy. So all of these modalities increasingly rely on technology. This includes the internet, intranets, video conferencing, and various online tools. So this fosters greater accessibility to information and learning resources. So all of these learning modalities are very important to all students, no, on how they learn differently because each students are very unique on their own, right? There you have it. So a quick overview of modern learning modalities. So each approach has its own advantages and, of course, disadvantages. So, and the best choice often depends on individual needs and learning styles. So, the future of education is likely to involve a blend of these approaches, creating dynamic and engaging learning experiences for all students. So, all of these are very, very important. I hope you enjoy and learn of this topic. And next, we have this Miss Angel Ancheta to gives you more knowledge. So let's hear it.
Good day everyone, my name is Angel Bernadette Ancheta, and for today, we will be learning about structures for facilitating a learner-centered teaching. Okay, but before that, I would like to briefly discuss what the previous reporter have discussed with you. So, earlier, she have discussed with you the delivery modalities, which refers to a learning delivery modality where learning takes place between the teacher and the learners who are geographically remote from each other during instructions. So the following are the modalities in teaching students. We have face-to-face, blended learning. So under the blended learning, we have stations rotation, blended learning, remote blended learning, virtual, the flipped classroom blended learning, and the mastery-based blended learning. Okay, so she also discussed the technology based online or e-learning and distance. Okay, so those are the modalities and delivery modality or the delivery modalities that she discussed with you. Now let's proceed to my topic, learning about structures for facilitating a learner-centered teaching. It is a potent tool to help pre-service and practicing teachers understand the fundamental pedagogical principles, processes, and practices that are anchored on learner-centeredness and other educational psychologies as they apply to facilitate the delivery of teaching and learning in the current educational milieu. Okay? So, we have formal, or we call traditional. It is concerned with the teacher being the controller of the learning environment. Power and responsibility are held by the teachers, and they play the role of instructor in the form of lectures and decision maker in regards to curriculum and specific outcomes. Approaches are generally teacher directed, where students are taught in a manner that is conducive to sitting and listening. So the traditional teaching methods emphasize direct instructions from teacher to students. So the teacher acts as the primary source of information, delivering lectures, demonstrating concepts, and assigning practice exercises. Learning is often passive, with students receiving and absorbing information rather than actively constructing their own understanding. So here are some examples of traditional teaching teaching methods. First is the lectures. So the teacher presents information to a large group of students. This method is sufficient for delivering a large amount of information, but can be less engaging for students. Next, we have demonstrations. The teacher shows students how to perform a task or solve a problem. This is sufficient for teaching practical skills, but may not be catered to diverse learning styles. Next is the drill and practice. So students repeatedly practice skills or concepts through worksheets, quizzes, or other repetitive exercises. This method reinforces learning but can be monotonous if not varied. We also have recitation. So students respond to the teacher's questions, often in a whole class setting. This technique helps assess understanding but can be anxiety inducing for some students. Okay, so next we have alternative learning system, or we call it ALS. It is a practical options to the existing formal instructions so that students can complete basic education in a mode that fits their distinct situation and needs. Under this flexible program, learning can take place anytime at any place, depending on the convenience and availability of the learners. This program is for the working and the disadvantaged adult who wish to complete primary and secondary education. Under the Alternative Learning System Act, the Republic Act number 11510, a learning system that is different from the traditional classroom-based method will be formally established. So under this we have three categories: the non-formal education, or NFE. So it refers to education that occurs outside the formal school system. It is often used interchangeably with terms such as community education, adult education, lifelong education, and second chance education. So it is integral part of a lifelong learning concept that ensures the young people and adults to acquire and maintain the skills, abilities, and dispositions needed to adapt a continuously changing environment. So, in non-formal education, it encompasses learning experiences outside of formal schooling system. So, it's characterized by its flexibility, adaptability to specific needs, and often a focus on practical skills and community development. For example, vocational training programs. So, these programs teach specific job skills like carpentry, welding, or computer programming, often leading to certifications or apprenticeships. So this might be offered by community colleges, private institutions, or even employers themselves. We also have the community-based health education, or workshops or classes on health topics such as the nutrition, hygiene, disease prevention, so offered within a community setting. These programs often target specific demographics, or address local health concerns. Okay, so next one, we have the informal education. So this does not have the structure and levels of formal schools have. It's more natural and spontaneous. So meaning the information that one learns through this form of education comes from from experience. Okay, so they learn from experience. For example, formal education can teach you about fire and physics and in more advanced classes or thermodynamics. But in informal education, it is when you see a person burning their hand when they touch a pot handle without a pot holder, and you learn that the heat from one stove is transferred to the pot handle. So you should be careful when you handle your cooking ware. So the informal education is also a broad category encompassing learning that occurs incidentally and without structured curriculum. It is often unplanned and arises from everyday experiences. For example, learning from family and friends. This includes acquiring social skills, cultural norms, and practical life skills from parents, siblings, relatives, and peers. Learning to cook, ride a bike, or handle household tasks often falls under this category. Okay, so next is we have the mobile teachers, okay, or these are the specialized teacher who live among the people in remote barangays of the country and conduct the BLP for literate out-of-school youth and adults who are willing to learn basic literacy skills and accreditation and equivalency, a continuing education. So, for those who left formal school system or have no access to school, they are called the mobile teachers because they go from one place to another where they are needed. Okay, for example, here in the case of consolation tag. So, it is a role of ALS or a role in ALS, no? So, um, this a teacher consolation tag is an ALS mobile teacher based in Dasmariñas City, Cavite. So she herself benefited from the alternative learning system. So after facing challenges in accessing formal education. So this where happens that she conducts classes at community learning centers or CLCs and provides tutorials to students who struggle with lessons. So her dedication as she also offers counseling and supports to students facing personal issues such as the domestic violence, no? So it has a huge impact to people. Wherein since 2011, no, she has helped over 200 students pass the accreditation and equivalency test, so enabling them to pursue further education or employment opportunities. Okay, so next is the alternative delivery modes, so or ADM. So it refers to the non-traditional education programs recognized by the Department of Education, which applies a flexible learning philosophy and a curricular delivery program that includes non-formal and informal sources of knowledge and skills. So these are tried and tested alternative modalities of education delivery within the confines of the formal system that allows schools to deliver quality education to marginalized students and those at risk of dropping out in order to help them overcome personal, social, and economic constraints in their schooling. So, under this, we have the modified in-school, off-school approach or MIMOSA. So, it is an alternative delivery mode of education meant to address the problem of congestions, overcrowding due to classrooms and teachers shortage resulting to big class size, less contact time with pupils, absenteeism, and insufficient learning materials. So classes under Mimosa are divided into two groups, the in-school group and the off-school group, wherein the in-school group learns from a typical classroom setup, while the off-school group naman is given the flexibility to learn and do activities independently or with a learning facilitator. So then the in-school group will exchange with and experience the learning intervention of those in the off-school group and vice versa. So both groups will report to school at the same time for enrichment and assessment of learning. So here are some examples or an example of the Mimosa in practice. So first is the utilizing para-teachers. A school uses para-teachers to conduct supplemental lessons for students who need extra help in specific subjects, allowing the main teacher to focus on the rest of the class. We also have the weekend review sessions, no? Students who miss classes due to illness or family obligations attend weekend review sessions led by volunteers of or school staff to catch up on missed materials. Okay, so next one, we have enhanced instructional management by parents, community, and teachers, or e-impact. It is a learning system in the Philippines that was designed in 2010 by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization. So, the Innotech through Impact, so the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization wants to solve problems in education in the Philippines public school system, such as lack of classrooms, teachers, textbooks, high dropout rates, and low budget allocated for education. So this technology enhanced alternative delivery mode of learning consists of peer-led approach is the main process that allows pupil to learn, interact with each other, and develop to their fullest potential. So every pupil has access to modules and instructional materials to guide him in his education. More than being trained on how to become facilitators of the learning process, the school faculty learns new perspectives about children and child education. Parents and members of the community becomes actively engaged in sustaining the system and making it work. So their support is crucial in ensuring that the learning process continues in their homes. So in the process of learning with the child, a whole community is transformed. So this the uh the e-impact is also a learning system in the Philippines, now as I've mentioned earlier. So this is why it was implemented. So it number one is self-study modules. E-impact relies heavily on self-study modules aligned with the Department of Education's curriculum. So these modules are provided to students and can be completed at home with supports from parents, community members, or other students. For example, no students might use a self-study module on fraction, working through exercises and activities with the help of their parents or the siblings. Okay, so the next one we have the Open High School Program, or OHSP. So it is an alternative mode of formal secondary education program run by the Bureau of Secondary Education of the Department of Education of the Philippine Republic uh, of the Republic of the Philippines. So, the program provides an opportunity for elementary school graduates, high school dropouts, and successful examinees of the Philippine Education Placement Test. So, the OHSP in the Philippines offers a flexible alternative through traditional secondary education. It caters to learners who cannot attend regular classes due to various constraints. So, for examples are reaching marginalized learners. So, the OHSP specifically targets marginalized learners who face barriers to accessing formal schools. This includes individuals from geographically remote areas, those with disabilities, those who are economically disadvantaged, or those who have dropped out of the formal school system. So the program adapts to their circumstances, offering flexible learning schedules and locations. Okay, so that would be all. I hope you have learned something, and let's learn more. Okay, so let's now welcome the next reporter. Have a good day, everyone.
Hello everyone, I am Janelle KP Caberta and I am going to tackle about methods and strategies. So what are methods and strategies in teaching? So there are several time test methods and strategies that learning center teachers can utilize in the classroom. Teachers can apply a variety of methods or strategies. This is importantly when every students have a different learning style. So first we have first methods, which is the active learning activities. It is any learning activity in which the student participates or interacts with the learning process. So an example of this is role play, case studies, group projects, think, pair, share, debates, just-in-time teaching, and short demonstrations, followed by class discussion. So next we have the cooperative learning activities. So here in cooperative learning activities, it is a generic term for various small group interactive instructional procedure. So students work together on academic tasks in small groups. So example of this is cooperative learning activities are pair or group discussions. It's also the same to the first method, role play, jigsaw, share, and fishbowl debate. So that is the cooperative learning activities. It is similar to the active learning, to the first method. So next, we have the inquiry and inductive learning activities. So what is this? In this activity, or in this learning style, it is a powerful strategy for helping students deepen their understanding of the content to develop their influence and evidence gathering skills. So example of this is group projects, research projects, fieldwork, especially in science lesson, unique exercises tailored for those students. So that is the inquiry and inductive learning styles. So next, we have the learner-centered instructional strategies. So here, we're going to talk about strategies. Earlier, we talked about the methods. Now, we're going to talk about the strategies. So first strategy is the cooperative learning. So what is this cooperative learning? It is a successful teaching strategy in which small teams, each with students of different levels of ability, use a variety of learning activities to improve their understanding on the objects or subject. So each member of a team is responsible for learning what is taught, but also for helping teammates learn, this creating an atmosphere of achievement. So that is the cooperative learning. Here, the next strategy is presentation. So that's a very understandable, no? Presentations. This includes like visual aids, instructional materials, files for the students to read. So the presentations, the instructional strategy of using student presentations as a way to present content to the class as a whole can be fun and engaging method. For example, of this, teacher handouts topics to students or group and have them present information on. So this includes the reporting or the presentation of the topic of the students. No, so there they will learn to interact, learn to talk in front of the class, and share their information that they have gained. So that is presentation. So now, we have here next is the panel. So in the panel discussion, a selected group of students act as a panel and the remaining class member act as the audience. A panel leader is chosen and he or she summarizes the panel discussion and opens discussion to the audience. So here in panels, now you can the student also learn to interact to their classmates. So this will improve their critical thinking, and also it will boost their confidence. So next we have the KWL or KWLHLAQ. So what is this? It is an instructional reading strategy that is used to guide students through a text. So students begin with brainstorming everything they know about a topic. So the students will brainstorm or give their thoughts or ideas about the topic. So this information is recorded in a K column of a KWL chart, and KWL charts are graphic organizers that help students organize information before, during, and after a unit of a lesson. So they can be used to engage students with a new topic, activate prior knowledge, share unit objectives, and monitor students' learning. So that is KWL. Here in KWL now, first the K, what do you know? W is what do you want to know? And the letter L is it means that what you have learned. So that is KWL. So next we have the next strategy, which is the brainstorming. Brainstorming is a large or small group activity that encourages students to focus on a topic and contribute to the free flow of ideas. So here in brainstorming, students or the learners will share their ideas about the topic so that they can create and they can have many ideas about the topic. No, so this will also will have positive classroom environment and strengthen the relationship between the peers. So the teacher may begin a brainstorming session by posing a question or a problem, or by introducing a topic. So there, after the teacher will give the lesson or the question problem, now the students or the learners will brainstorm so they can share their thoughts and ideas about the topic that is given. So no, next here we have the learner created media. So it involves a high degree of engagement, promotes individual learning, social interaction and immersion, and is highly customizable and collaborative. As an alternative or a complement to traditional undergraduate student research. So here in learner created media, here it is about these are the hard copy that's sent through the media. So here it promotes the individual learning, or the students will learn by their own here in learner created media. So next we have the discussion. So here in discussion, it is a variety of forums for open-ended collaborative exchange of ideas among teacher and students, or among students for the purpose of furthering student thinking, learning, problem solving, and understanding, or literary appreciation. So it will also reflect on their own ideas in an effort to build their knowledge, understanding, or interpretation of the matter at hand. So that is the discussion. This will more often happen inside a classroom. So the teacher discusses and students will participate if they have questions, or the teacher will ask the students if they have questions. So that is discussion. That's most often that is done in the classroom. So we have the next, which is the experiments. So experiment is a procedure carried out to support, reflect, or validate a hypothesis. Experiment provide insight into cause and reflect by demonstrating what outcome occurs when a particular factor is manipulated. So this is more importantly when in science class, right? We are more often into experiments, right? There should be a evidence, and also in research and etc. Next, we will tackle about the role play. It is a technique that allows students to explore realistic situations by interacting with other people in much way in order to develop experience and try different strategies. So here in role play, most of us have experienced this in role play, that you are given a topic and you will make a script or a skit on how to do it, and how to act, or are you going to act too, right? So I think this is an enjoyable technique also. So the advantages of role play is it allows everyone to participate. It develops also the self-esteem and confidence, and give them opportunity to give their best or to show their creativity. So the other strategies will be explained by my other team member.
Good evening and welcome to Chica Minutes, your daily dose of news with a twist. I am Sarah Michelle Arado, your host for today. Tonight we're diving deep into the fascinating world of educational strategies. Forget dry lectures. We're talking about innovative methods that are transforming classrooms across the globe. Buckle up because it's going to be an educational roller coaster. First up, first up, we have simulations. Immersive learning experiences where students become active participants in a teacher-controlled environment. Think interactive role-playing, problem-solving scenarios, or even virtual worlds. The beauty of simulations, they foster critical thinking, experiential learning, and a deeper understanding of complex concepts like environmental management of cultural dynamics. It's like stepping into a real world scenarios without the real world consequences. Next, we have the classic laboratory strategies. Science labs aren't just about beakers and Bunsen burners. They're about hands-on learning, problem solving, and developing crucial skills in data analysis and experimentation. Students gain a deeper understanding of concept, hone their critical thinking, and learn to use scientific equipment, all while having a blast. Now, let's talk workshops. These aren't your typical lectures. Workshops empower students to take the reins of their learning, becoming active participants in their own educational journeys. It's all about collaboration, creativity, and taking ownership of the learning process. Think brainstorming session, collaborative projects, and student-led discussions. It's learning by doing and doing it together. Need to showcase a process? Then demonstrations are your go-to-go method. Using visual like charts, posters, or even PowerPoint presentations, demonstrations provide clear step-by-step instruction. The key? Students should be able to replicate the process independently after the demonstration. Think of it as a masterclass, but in the classroom. Now, for a truly student-centric approach, we have the inquiry-based learning. This isn't about a teacher dispensing knowledge. It's about students exploring questions, investigating problems, and constructing their own understanding through evidence-based reasoning. It's all about fostering critical thinking and deep understanding. The benefits? It reinforces curriculum's content, promote deeper understanding, build initiative, and work in almost any classroom setting. Next, we have visual learners rejoice. Mental models are visual representations that help students grasp complex concepts. Think flowcharts, diagram, or even analogies. They provide a framework for understanding and problem solving, making abstract ideas more concrete and accessible. It's like having a mental map to navigate the complexities of a subject. For long-term projects and real-world application, we have project-based learning and problem-based learning. This method use complex real-world problems or challenges as the driving force for learning. Students work collaboratively, research analysis, and present solutions. It's learning by doing, but on a grander scale. And for those who love a good challenge, there's discovery learning, where students actively explore, experiment, and develop and discover new truths. It's all about fostering curiosity, creativity, and independent learning. It's like a treasure hunt for knowledge. Beyond the classroom, we have the power of social media, which can connect us to information, foster discussions, and build professional networks. It's about leveraging technology to enhance the learning experiences. And let's not forget the fun factors. Games and gamification can transform learning into an engaging and rewarding experience. Think points, badges, leaderboards, all the elements of a game apply to educational content. It's learning disguised as fun. Healthy competition is key. Competition push students to excel, fostering skills like teamwork, problem solving, and resilience. It's about pushing boundaries and achieving personal best. And finally, we have debates. Debates encourage critical thinking and communication skills. By presenting opposing viewpoints, it's about engaging in true thoughtful discussion and constructing well-restored arguments. So, now I'm done with my chica minutes. And that's a wrap on this whirlwind tour of educational strategies. From a simulation to debates, these methods are transforming how we learn and teach. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep learning. Thank you.
So good day everyone. So today we're going to talk about the flexible learning and teaching. But before that, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Antoinette N. Bensal from BS Ed English 1B Study Hub number 2, member 5. So flexible learning and teaching. So flexible learning is a method of learning where students are given freedom in how, what, when, and where they learn. So flexible learning environment addresses how physical space is used, how students are grouped during learning, and how the time is used throughout the teaching. So we have here a few examples in flexible learning. First, we have the face-to-face contact, website with interactive content, or in the chat rooms. We also have the discussion boards, the teleconferencing, and the video conferencing, and also the print resources, and the field trip, and lastly, we have the audio tapes. So flexible teaching accommodates curiosity, allow lesson to have much looser structure, and also let discussion and thoughts play out and follow them to see where they go. So in traditional course, some activities are synchronous, like listening to lecture or participating in discussion. So labs and small group work. Other activities might be asynchronous, like reading and also homework assignment. So flexible learning and teaching adapt to the student needs, offering a choice in how, what, when, and where they learn. So flexible learning. So students have control over the learning experience. So this could be involves like the methods, content, timing, and the location. For method, we have here the face-to-face classes. So face-to-face classes or online resources like website, chat rooms, and discussion boards. We also have the video comprehending, print materials, field trip, or we have here the audio learning. So for content, student may have some choice in what topic they explore within a border framework. We also have the timing. So timing, learner can happen at the time convenient for students, not just during the set classes time. So for location, it is learning can occur in what classroom, at home, or anywhere within internet access. So the center of this flexible learning is the student needs. So it is what they need when it comes to their learning. So where they can learn easily or where they can learn comfortable. So next we have here the flexible teaching. So flexible teaching, the instructors adapt their teaching style to the student needs and their interests. So this means like the open-ended lessons, student-led discussion, and the blended learning. For open-ended lessons, lessons are not structured. They can change based on the student question and discovery. For student-led discussion, discussions are encouraged and the teacher follows the student line inquiries. For the blended learning, so blended learning, it is combining the traditional synchronous activities, lectures, and discussion within asynchronous activities like online reading and assignments. So in short, the flexible learning and teaching can create more personalized and engaged learning experience for the student. So the teacher act as a guide and support the student as they explore their learning path. So before the traditional teaching style, the teacher are the one who give information. But today, the teacher are the one who give the guidance and they are the facilitator for the student. So the student now is the one who give information in front of the class. So this kind of flexible learning and teaching can help students to be more flexible. In what way? In the way that they can learn on their own. Like for example is the giving us information. Before, as we know, that the teacher are the one who stand in the front and give us information. But nowadays, now in this generation, the students are the one who give us information. So in that way, they can learn on their own. So they can explore a different kind of topic. And also, in flexible learning and teaching can help students on their needs and also they can learn easily. So the main topic here in flexible learning and teaching is the student learning experience. So student learning experience is the most important when it comes to student because their experience can give them a different kind of knowledge. So next we're going to tackle is about the differentiated learning. So differentiated learning is a framework or a philosophy that involves providing all the students within their diverse classroom community of learners arrange of a different avenue for understanding a new informations in a term of acquiring content. We also have the processing, constructing, or making sense of ideas, and also the developing teaching materials. And lastly, we have the assessment measures. So all the students within the classroom can learn effectively regardless of their different in their abilities. So it allows students to show what they know in different way and also what doesn't mean. So we have here the design lesson based on the student learning style. And second, the group student by sharing interest, topics, and ability per assignment. We also have the assess student learning using the formative assessment. And lastly, we have here the manage the classroom to create a safe place and supportive environment. So the differentiated learning means tailoring the teacher to meet the diverse needs of all the students in the classroom. So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, teacher adjusts how content is taught. So how content is taught is offering a various way to learn a new informations, visual aid, hands-on activity, and the group work, etc. We also have how the student process information. So how the student process information providing options for student to demonstrate their understanding. Like for example, a written assignments and also presentation and project. We also have the assessment. So assessment using a multiple methods to evaluate their learning. Like example, the test, project, and observation. So we have here the four key point or the four key aspect for differentiated learning. We have here the learning style, groupings, formative assessment, and also we have the supportive environment. So for learning style, teacher consider how student learn the best or learn best, like visual, auditory, and adapt to their teaching accordingly. We also have the groupings. So groupings, students might work individually in a small group based on their shared interests or their skill level, or as they the whole class depending on the activity. We also have the formative assessment. So formative assessment, teacher checks student understand to adjust their teaching as they needed. And also, this is not just about a grade, it's about providing the feedback and support for the student. We also have the supportive environment. So for supportive environment, it is creating a safe and exclusive classroom where all the students feel comfortable and taking a risk and participating. So this four key aspect is very important when it comes to the learning of the student, because this four aspect can help the student to improve when it comes to their knowledge and when it comes to their learning. So this topic or this learning ensure that all the students, regardless of their different kind of style when it comes to their learning or a different kind of abilities, have opportunities to succeed someday. So this is important to all that teacher, that we must encourage our student to participate in the classroom and also to have confidence, because we are the one who give them confidence inside the classroom. And also we must be encourage them to not afraid to speak out, because as a future educator or as a facilitator, we are the one who give them a knowledge and we are the one who guide them. So as a teacher, we must know our student inside the classroom. We must know them one by one. We need to know what is their style when it comes to their learning, because in that way we can teach them easily, and also we can teach them in a comfortable way on their own learning style. So differentiating instructions may mean teaching the same materials to all the students. Using a variety of instructional strategy, it might be required that the teacher to deliver lesson in a varying levels of a difficult based on ability of each the student. So according to Tomlinson, teacher can have a differentiating instructions in a four-way. So this four-way is the content, process, product, and learning environment. So this four is very important when it comes to student learning. So differentiating instructions means that adapting on how you teach to meet the different needs of the student. So this could be involves like the teaching the same materials in a different way. For example, using a variety of methods like visual aids, group work, discussions to ensure that all the students can understand. And also adjusting difficult level. So adjusting difficult level, it's provide easier or more challenging tasks depending on the student ability. So according to Tomlinson, according to Tomlinson, there are four ways in differentiating instruction, which is the content. So first is the content. So content is changing what student learn. So changing what student learn, some student might work on a simplified version of a task, while other is track a more complex one. So next is the process. So the process is changing how students learn. So some students might learn through hands-on activities, while others prepare for independent study. So third, we have the product. So product is changing how students show. So what they've been learned, this could be involved in different type of assignments, essays, presentation, or project. We also have the environment learning. So environment or learning environment rather It is changing the classroom atmosphere to be more supportive and engaged for all the learners. This could be involved like flexible seating arrangement and also collaborative group work. So as you notice in content, we have here the what. So what student learn, where process is how student learn. In product is how student show. And also in learning environment, it is also changing the classroom. So as you know, there is a step by step when it comes to the differentiating instruction for all the student. So this four-way can help us to identify our different kind of student inside the classroom or their different kind of style. So in short, the instruction is not just about changing the overall learning goals, but about providing the flexible pathway for the student to reach their goal. So this topic is very important to all the future educator out there. Why? Because this topic can help us to know how we can handle our different students. So inside the classroom, we have a different kind of student. So they have a different kind of style when it comes to their learning. So we must know how we can handle them emotionally and physically. So we have here an example for differentiated instruction. So first is the creating learning station. So creating learning station, it means provide a different type of content by setting up learning stations divided section of your classroom through which group student rotate. So it means like you can facilitate this within flexible setting up plans, or each station should use a unique methods of teaching skills or concept related your lesson. So for example, student can rotate between stations that involves watching videos, creating artwork, or reading an article, complete puzzle, and listening to your teacher. So second, we have here the target different sense within lesson. So lesson should be resonate within more student if it's the target is the visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetic senses. So instead of only one, like playing video, using infographic, provide audio books, and also getting student to act out of a sense and incorporating charts and also illustrations within the text. So it giving both spoken and written direction to the task. So using the relevant physical object such as the money when teacher math skills, and also the allocating. So allocating time student to create an artistic reflections and interpretations of the lesson. So we have here the third, which is the use the think, pair, share strategy. So what does it mean? It means student required to think individually about the topic or an answer to a question, and also share idea with their classmate. And lastly, we have here make time for journaling. So a journal can be tools for students to reflect on the lessons that you have taught and activities rather that you have run. Help them to process a new thinking and also new information. So that's all for my topic. So I hope you learned something special when it comes to the learning experience for the students. So again, we must remember that the learning experience is very important to all the students. And also, I hope you learned that the instructions is very important when it comes to the student learning. So as a future educator, we must know how to guide them or how to handle them emotionally and physically. Again, this is Antoinette and Bensol from Study Hub number 2, member 5.